Welcome to Adolf Hitler Must Die, a fan of history YouTube series. We are going to talk about Adolf Hitler and all the attempts to kill him. Hitler was so evil, and why didn't anyone just kill him during the war? Well, they tried. They really tried. There were 42 attempts at least to kill Hitler before and during World War II. And in this series we will look at all of them, everything that's known about the assassinations of Hitler, or the assassination attempts. We'll cover all the famous attempts. We'll also cover the less famous, for example the one today, and the downright bizarre attempts. This will include the greatest hits, such as the July 20th plot, the Operation Valkyrie, and the amazing ninja bomb of Georg Elser, who is on the picture here. But let's get started. This is Hitler Must Die, the pilot episode, episode 1, and the first attempt to kill Hitler. There are some attempts for which we have so little information that I will pack them into one episode. But we have quite a bit of information about this very first attempt at killing Hitler. And it's the closest from an assassination attempt of all the 42, but I still want to list it here. This is Private Henry Tandey of the British Army in World War I. Mr. Tandey served for 4 years on the Western Front. He was wounded twice, but he returned to duty both times. He was a very gallant soldier. He won several medals for courage under fire, and he even got the Victoria Cross. He's one of the most decorated men that actually survived the Great War. So Tandey was kind of a paladin soldier, a real knight, and he had a personal code, and this included that he could not shoot a wounded man who was out of the fight. And apparently he had the chance to do this several times during the war, and he always spared the wounded enemy soldier. So Hitler was a soldier during World War I. I will not talk about Hitler's history. There are several other podcasts and YouTube things and books and stuff about that. So I will assume that you know the general history of Hitler's life. He fought for 4 years in World War I. He was a brave and a willing soldier. He had several close encounters with death, but one of the attempts really stood out. Okay, this doesn't look much like Hitler, and I had to check twice to see that this is actually a picture of Adolf Hitler. Don't you believe me? Okay, look at this. Can you see that it's the same guy? Only much younger, of course. Anyway, back to the story. Hitler recalls an event where he was wounded. He was retreating, and there was a British soldier who had him in his sights. They were close enough to make eye contact, but the British soldier lowered his gun and chose not to shoot Adolf Hitler at this critical moment in time. This could have prevented the entire Second World War, or at least the Second World War as we know it. Hitler in turn nodded in gratitude and crawled to safety. After the war, there was an article which Hitler read that Henry Tandey got the Victoria Cross. He cut out the picture of Tandey in the article and was convinced that this was the man who saved him. There was an Italian artist called Fortunino Montagna who did a painting of Tandey in the 30s, because Tandey was a great war hero. And this is the painting. You can see Tandey on the lower right carrying his wounded comrade as a true hero. And Hitler heard about this, and he bought a copy of the painting, because the painting belonged to the Green Howards Regiment in Britain. But they sold the copy to Hitler, and he had this painting in close to his office. At least people who visited him could see the painting. Neville Chamberlain decided to go to Germany in 1938. And this is the famous peace in our time thing. Hitler really did a number on this guy. It was horrible. But during his visit, when he was not busy being tricked by Hitler, Chamberlain noticed the painting of Tandey and asked about it. And Hitler said, "The man came so near to killing me that I thought I should never see Germany again. Providence saved me." And Hitler asked Chamberlain to pass on his gratitude to Tandey. which Chamberlain actually did when he got back. So he called Tandey, and Tandey accepted the story because he had let soldiers go. All true to this code of his. He said, "I took aim, but couldn't shoot a wounded man, so I let him go." So both Tandey and Hitler thought that Tandey was the man. And then World War II happened. Tandey, always the gallant warrior, wanted to join, but he was older and wounded, and he was deemed unfit. So he volunteered to be a rescue worker during the Blitz. Still a hero. What a guy, this guy! And he served in Coventry, a heavily bombed city. And when he saw the horrors of World War II, he is quoted as saying, "If only I had known what he would turn out to be. When I saw all the people, women and children he had killed and wounded, I was sorry to God that I let him go." The picture is from 1973, and Tandey died peacefully in 1977 at age 86. He is laid to rest at the British military cemetery in Marcoing, alongside many of his comrades, actually not far from where he got his Victoria Cross. You can see all the medals on him still in 73. Also look at the horrible haircut of the child. So did this event actually happen? Well, modern researchers have looked at the history of the regiments, and actually Tandey's unit was never close enough to Hitler's unit for this event to have happened. And of course it probably did happen. Hitler clearly had this experience of being spared by an enemy, but it wasn't Tandey. So we will never know who actually, in the goodness of his heart, committed this horrible crime of mercy. And it's an interesting moral question, isn't it? How evil is it not to kill Hitler? And if there ever was a killing that could have been motivated, this would probably be it. So what happens now? I have 41 more stories to tell you, at least. I think there are actually more attempts to kill Hitler than that, but my research will show that. I have my books ready to go. I'm ready to get into this. You can reach me at Twitter on The Fan of History, and at Facebook at Fan of History. And you can support all my history projects at patreon.com/fanofhistory. And instead of giving you a date when I will do episode 2 of Adolf Hitler Must Die, I will do it if you like this video. If there are 50 likes on this video, or if there are 2,000 views, or I get 2 new patrons at patreon.com/fanofhistory telling me that they want to see more of Adolf Hitler Must Die, I will do the second episode as quickly as I can. But if you think this is crap, I will let it go. There are more things I want to talk about from World War II, and I know I have been doing ancient history for a year, and that was sort of to get me started. I will still finish the narrative to 700 BC, hopefully during this year, but I will also do other things about history. So you can also find the Fan of History podcast on iTunes, so check that out as well. So thank you for watching the Adolf Hitler Must Die pilot episode, because we will try really hard to kill this guy, and it's amazing how much he can survive. Oh, I'm done. Thank you for watching. Bye.